rankings and
please, at the back of the court. Thank you.
to be a real factor in the major events is what Hewitt's gunning for right now in his career.
Moved to the Bahamas with his family. A little easier to travel the globe rather than the isolation down here in Australia. It's close to getting back into the top 20. See each guy shanking a ball very early in a point. Nerves bound to be a part of this.
Yeah, both their forehands are a little suspect, and that can be a weapon for both. They'll both try to move around and hit it, but they can also make more errors. Baghdatis, it does have more power.
15-30.
Each guy's going to be in his opponent's service games all night.
Just a little bit of breeze blowing from Baghdatis' end.
Is that going to impact the server serving into that breeze, Darren?
You know, it's just enough to feel like for Leighton Hewitt, he's got to press a little more against the breeze. Not much.
Patrick, you mentioned the title in Sydney, which in terms of challenge from Hewitt, which Baghdatis won. He beat Hewitt en route to that. And Leighton, pretty commanding win of the first set, had control of the thing, and his camp felt that he took his foot off the gas and let it slip away. And Baghdatis got on one of his hot streaks. And the ball is out. And took the match away from him. Won it in 3. Won it going away.
And then he ends up winning the title. So he had plenty of match play coming into this year's Aussie Open.
And that's a yellow card to the linesperson straight off the bat.
Well, they get nervous too. Lucky break for the Australian. Hewitt looks fit. I mean, we talked about the wrapping on the knee, but certainly he has gotten in great shape.
Well, he had a lot of time to work on his physique in the last few months, and he says he feels a lot fitter than he did at this time last year.
Hewitt into it right away. A huge come on as he holds to open this match. Pam Shriver and what used to be the beer garden, now it's more like the family picnic area. Pam?
1, 2.
Chris, I'm actually inside with the Fanatics. These are exactly what they are, fanatical Leighton Hewitt fans. Leighton actually gave them their tickets. This is Carrie here and Jimmy here. And Carrie, did you have something for me?
He's a hit fan.
That was really bad. Yeah.
Come on, Carrie.
Pammy the Fanatic. Here we go. Fantastic look, Pam.
Thanks, Chris.
Apologize. You're indoors, although they're using their outdoor voices, those fans up there.
I spilled 3 beers on the way to my position here. I'm going to shake my foot out.
That should give you a good indication of that little bit of breeze that's floating down the court here. Hewitt at the other end was hitting the double-handed topspin backhand every shot, and they're just using the breeze to keep that ball nice and low, straight to the Baghdatis forehand. Yeah. He also knows if he hits that down the line, Baghdatis loves to hook that ball cross-court.
Baghdatis has a little trouble with that low one to the forehand, doesn't he, Darren?
Exactly.
Love 30.
Hewitt in the majors and lost to Gonzalez. Very unlucky draw in the opening round a year ago. Taken up by Raffet, the French. Roddick and Wimbledon in the quarters. And Federer, so he, with the ranking down there, you don't get quite the seeding he used to. Run into some tough guys in the first week.
That's part of the reason he's talking about wanting to get that ranking up, because he played well against Federer and against Roddick in those 2 losses.
Baghdatis with more firepower, but Hewitt, tremendous retrieving and counterpunching.
Oh, he's locked in. And that movement right there is absolutely key, because he's sending the message to Baghdatis early that he's feeling his legs. And look at that look.
I was out with that knee wrapped, but he is scampering around at full speed.
15-14.
The other thing that we've seen in this game is Darren pointed out when you gave him that one little key
for now,
and he did it. The second point, Hewitt was well inside the baseline on that second serve, actually forced the double. So you got another one, Darren?
Well, I have more if you want more.
Oh, well, we know we got a lot of time here.
No, I know. Listen, the one big thing for Leighton Hewitt, and I've got the Hewitt cap on at the moment. I'll go to the Baghdatis cap pretty soon, but Hewitt's got to try to keep the ball as low as possible, because if you put the ball up, I completely agree with you, Patrick. Baghdatis then does have more power, but if you keep it low around waist level or below to Baghdatis, no, I don't think he has the power, and he really struggles with the low ball. Hewitt does not.
Third break chance.
Let's see if Hewitt looks to sneak in here on this second. That's a great aggressive return there from Hewitt.
His wife Beck likes it. Razor sharp start for the Aussie. It's the kind of start that'll get this crowd behind him. It's been a few years since he's been deep enough in the tournament in these big atmosphere matches to kind of use that. Again, sent out in the opening round here a year ago. This will start feeling like 2006, 2005 if he can get him going. Turned pro in 1998. He's been playing this tournament since he was about 15 years old. 14th Australian Open. Same birthplace as Killer Cahill. That's our Infinity player profile.
Other thing that's really key for Leighton during this match is he's going to try, of course, to get as many free points off the first serve as he can, but the second serve, he normally likes to be pretty risky with it. He doesn't need to be with Marcos, because Marcos looks like he's going to hit the second, but then lays off. I think it's the one area of his game he can really improve, be much more aggressive with the return on the second serve. Just like that.
Baghdatis will have patches where he misses a lot. He'll dip and rise in matches. Hewitt has to make the most of the bad patch for Baghdatis right now, and he's doing that.
Boy, he's sharp to start this match.
Game Hewitt.
Love hold, and Hewitt off to a quick start as the 15,000 inside Rod Laver Arena and the thousands more watching in the sunshine outside approve.
The 2010 Australian Open is presented by Franklin Templeton Investment. Gain from our perspective, and in part by Infinity, luxury cars that inspire at every turn.
Back in Melbourne, a beautiful Saturday evening. Primetime matchup that Australia has waited for, and the Aussies like what they see so far. Baghdatis serving to try to get on the board in the early going. He's been missing, and Hewitt has been locked in. 8 errors already from Baghdatis in 3 games, so some of them forced, though, because Hewitt has played so well. Like that.
Wow. Killers all over it. Guess I should redo my checks on the returns, huh, Darren?
Absolutely. Great start.
That was just a, I mean, that's, Hewitt normally doesn't look to do that too often, does he? But he has stepped in beautifully. I think if you're Baghdatis now, you've got to try to just work your way into some rallies here. Take a little pace off your shots. As Hewitt's just feeding off the pace in the rallies. As you see Baghdatis' results here, of course, that amazing run to the final in 06. Lost to Federer in 4.
Beat Roddick and Nalbandian. Long night matches along the way. He's not a big percentage server, Patrick, but he can't find the box with his first serve, and it's killing him. That pass.
Again, Hewitt's just feeding off the pace that Baghdatis is giving him. And I think if you're Baghdatis, you've got to hit a few balls down the middle, hit some slices. Hewitt sometimes can struggle when he has to create his own pace. And Baghdatis has not gone to any sort of plan B yet. Baghdatis sort of moving his arm around there as if he's still feeling a bit stiff.
There's a correction, so it'll be an ace.
Ladies and gentlemen, Hewitt is challenging.
Will challenge.
On the right center service line. Ball was called out. Sorry, ball was called out.
Was called out, then it was called good. Now he's going to challenge it.
It is wide. That's
Second
a good
serve.
challenge. It gets Hewitt a look at a second serve now. Basically, almost essentially put this first set away if he gets a second break.
Game Hewitt.
Baghdatis hasn't shown up yet. Pam has shown up outside. Have you kicked any more beers over, Pam, on your way out to the garden there?
No, I didn't, but I'll tell you what, you notice the Fanatics were inside the stadium. The big group of Cypriot Greeks are outside the stadium, but they're very enthusiastic, even though your guy's down 4-love. Let's hear one of your chants.
Pam, can you translate?
Back to you, Chris.
They did find their way in to this place in 2006 for Baghdatis' matches, but the tickets are hard to come by, so they'll have to watch outside and make their noise. But the guy's been pretty quiet so far.
No, he's not giving him much to cheer about. But I'll tell you that's too bad for Baghdatis, because he feeds off the crowd, and he's not going to have that tonight.
It's well long. I might throw the Baghdatis hat on here now to even things up, Chris. You know, from a coaching point of view, when you come out and play Leighton Hewitt on this court, you know that he's going to be fired out. And I think the first job is to make sure he comes out on this court with big positive body language. And at the moment, I haven't seen anything. He's been pretty flat, and he's really been just reacting to what's been happening. Hewitt is controlling the atmosphere.
Can he play any better than this Darren?
No, he's playing great tennis, but the one thing Baghdatis needs to do against Hewitt, he needs the ball up. The only way that you get the ball up against Hewitt is to go hard to his forehand, and then he falls off that forehand. He hits it pretty spinny, and that's the only way that he's going to see balls that are up. If he keeps going to the backhand, Leighton is driving through that backhand beautifully. That ball staying too low for Baghdatis.
That was a thumped backhand, 87 miles per hour. I didn't think he could hit it that hard.
No, he's hitting the ball so clean and early.
Now, shot spot technology can tell you all kinds of things, including the fact that Hewitt's average net clearance in his shots average is 24 inches. That is clean and flat. But you didn't think you were going to hear that. The average net clearance of his shots?
No,
Okay.
that was good.
Baghdatis average clearance 36 inches, so a foot higher, a little more action.
Nadal's like 68 inches.
I don't know if that factors in all the shots that Baghdatis has hit in the net, though,
okay.
Which have been a lot already.
He's had 9 errors and no winners so far.
And we give you a lot of stats. We're going to start giving you average net clearance in inches.
That's pretty good.
Total points won in this match so far, 20 for Leighton Hewitt, 5 for Baghdatis. Ouch. Back live, Leighton Hewitt and Marcos Baghdatis have played 12 sets between them. Never anything like this. In fact, Baghdatis has never really lost a lopsided set to Hewitt. The final set of the epic here a couple of years ago, he was broken to lose the 5th set 6-3. That was a pretty tight set. So this is unfamiliar territory for the Cypriot.
You know, very bizarre. In just 19 minutes. Hewitt's just feeling it. I mean, he's just reading the game. His movement's phenomenal right now. Scrambles after this one. Kim Clijsters last night, the U.S. Open champ, won just 5 points in her opening set, lost to Nadia Petrova. Baghdatis has won just 5 points so far.
You can see, Patrick, that Hewitt fully engaged emotionally and physically. When he gave a big come on after holding to open the match, I mean, you knew he was amped.
That's a big change up there because Hewitt likes to take that cross court, and Baghdatis knows it, and he was leaning the wrong way there, and Leighton doesn't like to play that forehand down the line. That was a beautiful change up.
Baghdatis being embarrassed here, Patrick. But the thing about tennis is the work's only a third done for Hewitt. Right. You get to start over the second set.
Exactly right. It's like a 7-game series in basketball or baseball. It doesn't matter how badly you lose one. I love that call from Darren, though, at the beginning of the match, that Hewitt's going to look to attack, and he's clearly making a conscious decision to really take some big shots. And by the way, the winner of this match plays Roger Federer. And if that's Hewitt, that's a good play for him to employ against Federer as well, if he gets some looks at some seconds to go after.
No doubt Federer, who's probably having dinner right now, but we'll come back to the hotel later. He'll be aware of that.
He better get through his meal pretty quick. He wants to see any of this.
Come on.
This is 21 minutes.
I know, but you tell me we're going to see more of the same in sets 2 and 3.
I hope not. Well, we might.
We all do. We hype this thing up, and
it's Woodshed Saturday.
The Bagman hasn't arrived yet. Let's go back out to the studio and Chris McHenry.
All right, Chris, you can hear the roar of the crowd behind us. Wow, first set at Love. Leighton Hewitt yet to drop a set this tournament. It continues. Mary, your impression?
All day long. I mean, this is what all the matches have been like. But today, I'm not that surprised. I mean, Baghdatis had so much of the starch taken out of him in the last round. Leighton Hewitt has worked so hard to get himself physically, mentally, emotionally prepared to have a great run here.
Yeah, both players. So the contrast of the energy of Hewitt. Baghdatis didn't have a winner in the entire set. He had only 5 points in 6 games. Broken on all 3 of his serves. He's got to find some way to show that he cares.
You have to kind of hope that Baghdatis, you know, loosens up a little bit and starts getting a little more energy in his legs. So this is going to be over fast.
Yeah, well, in the last round, he went down 2 sets before rallying to win 5.
He can do that.
We'll see it. He's ready for a show. He can be a bit flaky that way, correct? Is that a fair word to say?
Well, yeah, charismatic.
Oh, it's really true. He's really something. We should go back now over back to Rod Laver Arena, because on that last changeover, Marcos Baghdatis getting worked on. I mean, this match could be decided right here on this last changeover. He looks so exhausted to me. He walked out on the court. Look how tired his eyes look. I mean, it's a real pity that this thing could go away in a hurry. Chris?
It was a brief visit by the trainer, Mary. The massage to the shoulder, then Baghdatis trotted out there, so not a full injury timeout. He did win the first point of this opening service game for Hewitt. And that's news when he wins a point.
No, yeah, it's only the 7th. Well, we know Mary is right on. I mean, Baghdatis really looks like he looked like he's played 5 sets already, and it's almost like his shoulder looks like he's sort of got like a dead arm. And we'll see if he can somehow find some adrenaline here to just get himself in this.
He tried to come in with some match play. Darren mentioned went to Brisbane, lost in the 2nd round, and won the title in Sydney. So it's good to get that build up, get some confidence, but then the wear and tear can also build up. And then that match with Ferrer 2 days ago, more than 4 hours.
Stop playing.
There was a call on Hewitt's end. The ball was called long, I believe. And there was some hesitation.
The linesperson called it out and corrected himself, so Leighton stopped play.
So, sorry?
I know I told it, but he gave his finger.
Yes, yeah, I know, I saw that.
But he said out.
Yes. So you challenge?
Ladies and gentlemen, the line umpire called down. Baghdatis is challenging the call on the left near sideline. Ball was called in.
Henrik remained in the chair.
Corrected himself.
Players often use a challenge when there's some kind of hesitation by the lines person.
Well, they're going to have to replay it now anyway because it's in.
Replay point, 30-15.
What a shot. Unbelievable slice there from Hewitt. He knows that he has Baghdatis in serious trouble, and he's trying to just take his will away right here if he can. You see him looking over after each of these rallies. Did a little extra effort into making sure he gets another ball back in play right now.
Sending the message how difficult it's going to be to win 1 point. And Baghdatis has won only 7 of them in 7 games. He might want to consider holding serve here to maintain contact.
Yeah, he needs to do something. And Hewitt's just, you know, his movement's been phenomenal. As you see this replay here is Baghdatis actually playing from the center of the court, which is normally where he wants to play, but he's just not doing enough to get Hewitt really out of position here. Leighton, look how balanced he is. Look how comfortable he is. There's the shot that opens things up for him. Excellent footwork there to take the forehand. And he gets back to a neutral position. But again, this one, he keeps it back in, keeps it low. Scrambling beautifully, and then got to do a better job with that volley there. But Hewitt's just been moving beautiful.
There's 14 Hewitts on the court, Patrick.
That's what it feels like now.
And boys, that last forehand that Marcus hit was the very first shot that he's actually laid into, and that's been the big difference. Is Hewitt's been prepared to miss, but he's also sending a huge message to the other side of the court.
Must be the tennis ball. He's complaining about
new balls. No, yeah. So they're saying this one is dead, I guess.
Marcus has got to go after some balls. He's just laying the ball on the court. He's got to be much more aggressive.
Maybe it's a bad batch. Molina wants all the balls brought in that they just changed to.
No, that's smart. It's smart to do that, because if they just put out a new one, then if one's bad, there's a good chance.
These three are okay. Just put new 3.
So he's going to put in one new can.
It's like he's at the grocery store there. He's checking out all the fruit. Which with this, not this one, in
Give
the
me
bag.
the mangoes, baby. Give me some mangoes here down under. Best mangoes in the world.
That's bizarre. You don't see that very often. So maybe that's been the problem for Baghdatis. The balls that Hewitt's hitting seem fine.
This has been the problem for him, this guy. Baghdatis is, you know, he's got big shots, but he's also the kind of guy that plays on emotion. He's not one of those guys, Chris, where you know what you're going to get.
No.
He's not one of those guys like a David Ferrer, like you know he's going to be there, point in and point out. If he's feeling it, if he's in the groove, he's going to compete well and he's going to be into it. But if he's not, you may get this.
Well, I've never seen him this flat.
No. Not in a big moment.
Especially at this event. This is a tournament that he loves. We made his big breakthrough. The crowd, when he's not playing an Aussie, is almost always behind him. I mean, it means a lot for him to be on this Rod Laver stage, and it's been embarrassing so far. There, and the racket head speed just not there at all on the forehand side.
He is not hitting the ball at all. He looks like a deer in headlights. And Hewitt's playing it smart. He's going to that forehand. He's keeping pretty good depth, and he knows that Baghdatis likes to hit most of those cross courts, so he's camped on the cross court there. Hewitt is completely controlling the tempo. Marcus has to be prepared to miss a few. He's got to unload on a couple of big forehands.
That's his first winner, by the way, Darren. Yep. An ace counts in that category. That's his very first winner of the match.
Or probably his best shot is the backhand down the line. I'm not sure he's even tried to hit that yet.
No, he's still trying to loosen up that shoulder, as you saw after that ace. I think his body's just sort of locked up on him.
It's a bigger serve, 204.
Running through that forehand. He's just not settled. There's no base in his legs there. He's still trying to shake off that arm. I think he's got dead arm.
That's not good.
No. Not for a pitcher and not for a tennis player.
In baseball, you can bring in a new pitcher.
That's a good point.
No relief out here tonight.
No.
But Patrick, you make a good point, because sometimes there's a challenge from Hewitt. Sometimes if you do have a bit of a sore shoulder and you get the physio that gets his fingers in there, it can make you feel like it's dead. So maybe he's had a little too much treatment going into this match.
Too much massage, huh? Okay. Well, a pair of aces in this game. This gets him to deuce. That's more like it. Maybe the shoulder is starting to feel a little bit better. It'll be interesting to see if he gets the full treatment the next changeover. Even that forehand wasn't routine. It clips the tape but goes over. But Marcos getting the serve going. So he's got one weapon at least and able to get on the board. Coverage continues on Tennis Channel. Round of 16 action at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. A little later start time on ESPN2. 10 o'clock Eastern Time. And ESPN360.com has continuous coverage of all the TV courts. Andy Roddick and Fernando Gonzalez is the night match in Australia here on Sunday night. How many forehands in the net?
Yep. See, I actually slightly disagree with Darren a little bit, which I know is sacrilege because he's
get
the
something
man.
going tonight.
He's the man when it comes to the X's and O's. But see, I think Baghdatis has got to get a little more spin on a couple of forehands to just try to work his way into it because he has no rhythm. And I think if he keeps trying to just go big, he's going to keep making errors. Play a few balls like that. I mean, that one he slightly missed it, but that's also a shot that Hewitt doesn't like. That's not going to win him the match, but that might at least get him into some points and then get some balls that he can attack.
I like it when you disagree with me, Patrick.
It's hard, Darren.
I don't know if you guys can get a slow-mo on his forehand, but he's really rolling that wrist over on the forehand.
He's still moving that shoulder around.
Yeah.
I mean, after every point, he's kind of moving it, hanging it.
Most of those forehands are burying in the net. Big game here for Hewitt, 2-1. Then he comes to the other end for 2 games and he's got that slight breeze. He'll be thinking break in the very next game. That's a better forehand.
He's still frequently shaking that shoulder out, though. You wonder if it is really bothering Baghdatis and how much belief he can have in his ability to win this thing. And he is such an emotional player. He needs that kind of stuff. If there's not a lot of belief in his condition, it won't be pretty.
At the moment, it looks like there's little.
That's nice stuff from both guys. And Hewitt with a little miss-hit lob able to close out the game. More competitive match going on at high sense as Joe Willie Tsonga tries to serve out the first sets against Sami Haas. Chris.
That's right, Chris. He's yet to drop a set and now serving at 5-4 in the first, joined by Dick, Mary Carrillo, Brad Gilbert also out there at high sense.
How's it been going, Brad?
Well, it's been very comfortable serving for both players until the last game. Tsonga made his move with a couple of electric shots, and Tsonga has the crowd amped up right now.
That's no surprise. Tsonga in the yellow shirt.
Yeah, the first 8 games went very comfortable, and then Tsonga, who's one of the most acrobatic players. Watch this point here at 4-all deuce, and watch Tsonga. He's a big man, about 215 pounds. Cover this drop shot with the slide, and you got to get up. And this is the break point where he secures the break. Nice approach, and look at that off the net for the break.
Oh boy, that looks like fun stuff. Every time these two guys, Tsonga and Haas, come on the court, it's a comeback. We keep talking about Kleisters coming back, Enna coming back. What about these two?
And there is a set point for Tsonga, the man who went all the way to the finals 2 years ago and lost to Djokovic. 6-4 in the opening set.
Chris, we'll keep you posted on what's going on at High Sense. We have our man Brad out there right now. Back to you, Rod Laver.
We may be seeing a lot of that one. A little more competitive than what's going on here. Baghdatis, as Darren mentioned, serving into that slight breeze. So maybe Hewitt ready to pounce here. He'll get a look at a second serve right away.
Yep, he's well inside the baseline.
6
yeah.
feet inside the baseline.
Another forehand, another shake of the arm.
That's just droopy looking shot.
Yeah, if you're Hewitt right now, you hit every ball to that forehand side.
And that's a Baghdatis point. That's the kind of point that got into the final here 4 years ago. He is as talented and as clean a ball striker as there is out there.
Well, and he is dictating the play in that rally, keeping Hewitt really pinned behind the baseline. And he's quick to respond to that one. He needs to put together a few points in a row like this to try to get himself going.
See Hewitt shoot him a look after that point. So where did that come from? It's always interesting when you watch courtside to see the glances that are exchanged back and forth across the net as you try to take the measure of your opponent, see how he's feeling, see if he's bluffing, see if he's capable of raising his level.
Well, a lot of things have changed for Lleyton Hewitt over the years as far as his tennis, the injuries, the struggles sometimes with the serve. But what's never changed is his competitiveness and his instincts as a competitor out there. And if he smells some blood in the water, he will pounce quickly.
Because he knows the history of Baghdatis.
He just knows how to compete. You know, he knows when he can take advantage of a situation.
I thought he was in kind of maybe third gear against Donald Young out on this court. The young American didn't have to be better than that. Wasn't as sharp, nothing like this.
No.
Last time on the juice court, actually Hewitt for the first time backed up to return the first serve, and that opened up the angle there for Baghdatis to slide one wide and serve the ace. I'm not sure you'll see him back up this time.
was forced to go for a lot in that second serve. Just to stay neutral in the point. That's just the third time Baghdatis has won a point in this match when he's missed his first serve.
Yeah, 3 out of 15. This is really the first ball that Hewitt's hit from the baseline that he's misfired on, missed by a lot. There's that backhand down the line Darren was talking about for the first time.
His camp wasn't exactly feeling it, were they?
No.
Baghdatis holds for 2-all, but it wasn't much jubilation there.
Eduardo Infantino, who's coached a couple of South Americans throughout his career.
Love Cyprus is not feeling too much love at the moment.
No. Baghdatis, as most of you know, left Cyprus, really grew up as a tennis player in France and Paris. He's moved around and no longer associated with the club there. Back to Cyprus to base himself.
He's in a long conversation with his camp.
Yeah, it took some extra time there, didn't he, Darren? Went way over. So you would imagine he's probably talking about his injury if he's heading way over there. Baghdatis is not the kind of guy that would do that normally.
No. He's not a look to the box after every point kind of guy and needs reassurance. Or,
no.
Hewitt's got to watch that play where he actually rolls the backhand down the line and doesn't quite hit it, because Baghdatis will step in and take your time away and flatten that backhand out cross court. He's got to commit himself if he wants to take that down the line.
Hard work by both men.
You know, Baghdatis doing his best to just try to get into some rallies, which he is doing. As you see Eduardo Infantino there, he's been telling Baghdatis to try to stay calm. He realizes that his guy is not feeling 100%. Just doesn't look like Baghdatis has that explosiveness with his feet. When he feels like he gets something to hit, he's just a little hesitant.
He's got a full team traveling with him as well. He's got a hitting partner, full-time hitting partner. Also a full-time strength and conditioning coach.
Great backhand there. Hewitt's really doing a good job of moving the ball around and hitting with exquisite depth off the ground when he decides to go for something. Watch him line up this backhand. Look at the depth there. Perfectly placed. Baghdatis cannot catch up to it.
Hewitt is also not feeling any pressure on his second serve because, as we mentioned before, Baghdatis does not like to take chances on the second serve return. Has he served a double yet, Patrick? Hewitt?
No, he hasn't. No aces, no doubles. There's the first ace.
Plenty of fire in Hewitt's corner on serve in the second.
Welcome back to the 2010 Australian Open, presented by Franklin Templeton Investments.
Well, before Tennis World arrived in Melbourne, the tune-up in Sydney, these guys met in the quarterfinals. Again, it was Hewitt winning the opening set. Lots of points like the ones we've been watching in the last few games. And then he kind of took his foot off the gas, and Baghdatis took control of the match. And now this is in the final set. Baghdatis able to prevail. He beat Marty Fish, third set tiebreak in the semis, and took the title by beating Gasquet in a very tight match. So lots of match play coming to Melbourne. And then maybe too much match play.
Yeah, maybe. You also get to see in those highlights just, you know, the type of emotion and intensity that Baghdatis plays with, and he needs that. He needs to feel it like that, and he's just obviously not feeling it tonight. Yet. Trying to serve his way into it, much better serving, but continues to shake that arm out. You see the win streak he's been on. Pretty good draw up until he played Hewitt. And then a big win over Ferrer here from 2-0 down.
Oh, no. Good work by Baghdatis, dictating the point, but the poor execution of the drop shot. In that 5-setter against Ferrer is a very good 5th set player. The Spaniard can run all day. It was Baghdatis who wore the Spaniard down mentally and physically.
No, he definitely had plenty left there, but just doesn't seem like he's recovered from that. You know, as much as anything, being a tennis player is being able to weather those tough, long matches, but is coming back after those matches, been able to do it again. That's what Grand Slam tennis is all about, particularly on the men's side where you go best of 5. Baghdatis really looked like he pulled up there and didn't give much of an effort going to that ball.
Yeah, sure didn't.
Yeah, Hewitt saw it as well.
Great chances for a 4-2 lead. Another tired looking forehand dumped in the net, and Hewitt has the break. Sometimes great matches, drama can be contagious around the grounds, back-to-back on the big courts and the outer courts. Maybe routes could be contagious too. It's been Woodshed Saturday.
Yeah, we got your line in there in our graphic, Chris.
I mean, David Echo's been taking everybody to the Woodshed.
Guys. He's retiring.
Is it? Is it over?
Yep.
No, that's too bad.
Well, that's too bad.
Yeah, this is really
That's too bad.
an unfortunate ending to this match for the crowd. Great affection between these men.
Yeah,
respect as well. He didn't want to win it like this, but the way he started this match had maybe a lot to do with the fact that Baghdatis had no belief.
Now, I'll tell you, Hewitt looked very, very sharp, and he's going to be well rested and full of confidence when he takes on Roger Federer in the next round.
Baghdatis walked out of here 2 years ago at 4:35 in the morning in tears. Well, it's only about 8:10 this Saturday night in 2010. No tears from him, but a massive disappointment to have to surrender like that on this big stage, his favorite major tournament. And for Lleyton Hewitt, he'll take it. He looks sharp.
No doubt.
Good, about 54 minutes work here. And if he could play like this against Federer, maybe he could snap the 14-match losing streak
I'll
too.
tell you what, what I liked about the way Hewitt played is the way he attacked those second serves. I mean, he was moving great. He played a very tight match against Federer at the U.S. Open in New York. He's going to have the crowd behind him. If he can step up and take some chances, be aggressive there on some second serve returns, he can give Federer some real problems.
And you play a guy that's owned you and beaten you 14 straight times. There is a danger to constantly overthink things and try to get out of your comfort zone, but you can search for answers. Pam, what have you got?
Eduardo, I just spoke to Eduardo Marcus's coach, and I said, what was the deal? And he said he never mentioned it in practice. He used the word perfect. I actually had him here for a minute. He was going to talk, and then he just said, I got to go. He wants to go talk to his guy. But it was a total surprise to his coach that his arm was hurting, and that this retirement has occurred. Chris?
And it's interesting to know, Pam. The coach should know. It's not like you keep a secret from him, but they go through a warm-up, and there's the trainer. This is
Leighton, I know you have great
not a real timeout, but just a rub down between sets.
A match like this, what did you guys have a chat about net there?
It was a disappointing walk to the net. I don't think Hewitt saw that coming.
No, I don't think any of us did. But you could tell, boy, the look in his eye from the start just wasn't there.